Before a recruit ever talks to your coaching staff, they've already formed an opinion about your organization. They're scrolling your social feeds, watching your content, and reading your captions. Whether you realize it or not, every post is either building trust or creating doubt. Today, I'm breaking down how to make sure what they find actually works in your favor. I'm Will Dudley, multimedia pro, ESPN alum, and creator of Winbook. Let's get to it on this episode of Sport of Content. Most organizations are building recruiting content around the wrong goal entirely. They think the job is to impress the recruit. Look at our facilities. Look at our wins. Look at our highlights. That's not exactly what a recruit is actually doing when they spend time with your content. They're not evaluating you. They're actually looking for themselves. They're asking, do I fit here? Do the athletes in this program look like they're thriving? Does this place care about more than just the scoreboard? That's a completely different standard than just posting great content. It means your content has to show the culture, not just the competition. It has to show the people, not just the performance. And it has to do that consistently enough that a recruit spending 10 minutes on your feed walks away with a feeling, not just an impression. The organizations consistently winning recruiting battles in their tier aren't doing it because they have the biggest budget or the fanciest production. They have a clear content identity. The recruit doesn't just see the program, they see themselves in it. That's the standard, and most organizations aren't building to it. Let's be clear about what content's actual job is in the recruiting funnel. Content doesn't close recruits. Your coaches do. But content determines whether your coaches ever get the conversation. Think about how recruiting actually works at the top levels. A recruit has options, multiple schools, multiple coaching staffs reaching out. They're not talking to all of them equally. They're prioritizing the ones that already feel right. And that feeling, that sense of this is somewhere I want to be, gets built before the first phone call. Your content is doing that work, or it's not. And if it's not, your coaches are spending their time trying to overcome a first impression your negative content already made. According to the 2025 RNL E-Expectations Trend Report, 56% of students say social media matters most when they first start thinking about a school. That's before they ever request information or take a campus tour. That window is where content identity either earns you a spot on the list or loses it. Give your coaches something worth closing before they ever pick up the phone. So what is a recruit actually evaluating when they look at your content? Let me be specific. First, do your current athletes look happy? Not scripted happy, genuinely engaged. Are they smiling in the behind-the-scenes content? Are they joking with coaches? Are they talking about their experience like it's a place they chose on purpose? Recruits read that immediately. Their parents read it even faster. Second, does this program care about more than winning? Academic celebrations, community involvement, character moments, life after sport. A recruit's family is evaluating whether their child is going to be developed as a person, not just an athlete. If your content is entirely highlight reels and graphic announcements, you're telling half the story. Third, is this content consistent? A feed that was active 3 months ago and then went quiet tells a recruit something. Inconsistency reads as disorganization. It creates doubt. Consistency signals that this program is run with intention. Over 90% of teenagers use social media every single day. Your content isn't competing for attention occasionally. It's competing in a daily environment. Consistency isn't optional. It's the baseline. Production quality matters less than you may think. Authenticity actually matters more than you think. And consistency is the bridge between the two. So how do you build a content identity that actually recruits? It's 3 steps. All of them practical, all of them something you can start this week. Step 1. Define your 1-sentence content identity. Not your mission statement, not your brand values document. 1 sentence that describes what a recruit should feel after spending 10 minutes with your content. Something like, we develop athletes who compete at the highest level and lead beyond it. That sentence is the lens everything else gets filtered through. Before content goes out, the question is, does this reflect that identity? If the answer is no, it shouldn't go out. That's your content anchor policy in action. Step 2. Identify your 3 content themes. These are the recurring areas you own. For most athletic departments, it looks something like this: athletic excellence, athlete stories, and culture and community. Every piece of content you produce maps to one of those 3. That structure is what creates the consistent identity a recruit recognizes over time. Step 3. Audit your last 30 days of content. Pull your last 30 days. Look at every post. What percentage actually reflects your 1-sentence identity? What percentage reflects your 3 content themes? That gap between what you say your identity is and what your content actually shows, that's your opportunity. And usually it's bigger than most ADs expect. Those 3 steps are your foundation: identity statement, content themes, 30-day audit. In Winbook terms, this is the content identity layer of phase 1. Everything else in the system builds on top of it. So here's the part where AI comes into play. It changes the math on everything we just talked about. The biggest reason athletic departments struggle with content consistency isn't lack of ideas, it's lack of production capacity. One SID managing 7 sports can't build out athlete stories for every program, maintain a 30-day calendar, and produce consistent content across 3 platforms. It's virtually impossible. That's not a staffing failure, that's just math. AI changes the equation. Once your content identity is defined and your 3 themes are established, that's the structure. And structure is what AI needs to work. AI drafts your athlete story captions from the raw notes your staff already takes after interviews. AI maps your 30-day content calendar once you give it your event schedule and your 3 themes. AI also generates your recurring series outlines: Student Athlete of the Week, Film Room Friday, Signing Day Countdown, so the series stays consistent even when production gets tight. And we all know production will get tight. The Winbook rule: structure before prompt. I constantly preach that. Your content identity is the structure. AI amplifies it. Without the identity defined first, AI just produces more generic content faster. With it defined, AI produces content that sounds like your program, reflects your culture, and speaks to the recruit you're trying to reach. One person with Winbook and AI can manage what used to take 3. That's the operational shift. And for a department running multiple sports on a lean staff, that shift matters. Recruiting is the lifeblood of your program. And the work your content does before your coach ever makes contact, that's not a soft metric. That's a competitive advantage, and it shows up in the quality of athletes walking through your door. If you want to know where to start, do the 30-day audit. Pull your last month of content, measure it against a content identity statement, and find the gap. That exercise alone will show you more about your content operation than any platform analytics dashboard. If this episode gave you something actionable, subscribe to Sportive Content so you get the next one. Every episode on this channel builds on the last. Drop a like if this was worth your time, and share this with your AD, your coaching staff, or whoever runs your content. This is the conversation that needs to happen inside your building. I'm Will Dudley. This is Sport of Content. And remember, trust the process and let's get the dub.